Everyone, today I'm going to start with the last chapter of EMI subject, that is signal conditioning. So in this lecture we are going to discuss about the basic concepts behind the signal conditioning, then types of signal conditioning used in EMI, and after that we'll discuss about the data acquisition system and its types. So signal conditioning is an electronic circuit that manipulates a signal in a way that prepares it for the next stage of processing. The measurement, which is basically a physical quantity, is detected by the first stage of the instrumentation or measurement system. The first stage is the detector transducer stage. The quantity is detected and converted or transduced into an electrical form in most of the cases. The output of the first stage has to be modified before it becomes usable and sufficient to drive the signal indicating stage, which is the last stage. This last stage may consist of indicating, recording, displaying and data processing elements, or may consist of control elements. The function of the signal conditioning circuits include the following items. First, signal amplification, then filtering, interfacing with microprocessor, protection, linearization, voltage change circuits, resistance change circuits, and error compensation. These are some of the functions of signal conditioning circuits. Now we'll talk about why should we go for signal conditioning. Means what is the need of signal conditioning? Signal conditioning equipment is an excitation and amplification system for passive transducer. It is an amplification system for active transducer actually. In both of the applications, the transducer's output is brought up to a sufficient level to make it useful for conversion, processing, indicating and recording. In case of the passive transducer, they require excitation because they do not generate their own voltage or current. Thus, passive transducers like resistance thermometers, strain gauge potentiometers, inductive and capacitive transducers require excitation from external sources. On the other hand, active transducers like thermocouples, piezoelectric crystals do not require an external source of excitation since they produce their own electrical output on account of application of physical quantities. Now talk about the types of signal conditioning system. The types are DC signal conditioning system and AC signal conditioning system. We'll talk about this one by one. The DC system is comparatively simple, which is shown here. The block diagram is given over here. The resistance transducers like strain gauge constitutes one or more arm of the Wheatstone bridge, which is excited by the DC source. The bridge can be balanced by using a potentiometer and can also be calibrated to indicate the unbalanced condition. The DC amplifier should have the following characteristics. Its input stage may be a balanced differential inputs giving a high CMRR. It should have extremely good thermal and long-term stability. It is easy to calibrate at low frequency and it is able to recover from an overload condition unlike an AC system. The main disadvantage of a DC amplifier is the problem of drift. Hence, low frequency spurious signals are available as data at the output, and to avoid this low drift of a DC amplifier, special low drift DC amplifiers are used. Lastly, we talk about the AC signal conditioning system. So in order to overcome the problem of drift in the DC systems, AC systems are used. Figure shows the circuit of an AC system using carrier types AC signal conditioning system. The transducers used are of variable resistance, that is, you can also call it as potentiometer or variable inductance type. They are employed between carrier frequency of 50 kHz and 200 kHz. The carrier frequencies are much higher, at least 5 to 10 times the signal frequencies. The output of a transducer is supplied to the bridge circuit, whose output is an amplitude modulated carrier signal. This waveform is amplified by an AC amplifier. This amplified modulated output is then applied to a phase sensitive demodulator, the carrier signal. This produces a DC output that indicates the direction of the parameter change in the bridge output. In a carrier system, the carrier system amplifier, frequency drift and presence of spurious signals are not much of a problem. However, it is more difficult to obtain a stable carrier oscillator than a DC stabilized source. Here, active filters can be used to reject this frequency and prevent overloading of the AC amplifier. The function of the phase sensitive detector is to filter out the carrier frequency components of the data signal. DC systems are generally used for common resistance transducers such as potentiometers and resistance strain gauges. Now let's just take a minute and try to answer these questions. An AC signal conditioning system is normally used for what? Signal conditioning is used for what? And drift problem occurs in which type of signal conditioning system? I hope you got the answers. So an AC signal conditioning system is normally used for both inductive transducer and capacitive transducers. Signal conditioning is used for boosting the voltage and drift problem occurs in DC signal. Let's just move forward and talk about data acquisition system. The system used for data acquisition are known as data acquisition systems. These data acquisition systems will perform the tasks such as conversion of data, storage of data, transmission of data, and processing of data. Data acquisition is the process of digitizing data from the world around us so it can be displayed, analyzed, and stored in a computer. A simple example is the process of measuring the temperature in a room as a digital value using a sensor such as a thermocouple. Modern data acquisition systems can include the addition of data analysis and, and reporting software, network connectivity, and remote control and monitoring options. Now we'll talk about the components of data acquisition system. All data acquisition system consist of three essential elements: sensor, signal conditioning, and ADC. First we'll talk about the analog to digital converter. At the core of all data acquisition system is an analog to digital converter. As the name implies, this chip takes data from the environment and converts it into discrete levels that can be interpreted by a processor. These discrete levels correspond to the smallest detectable change in the signal being measured. The higher the number of bits of an ADC, it can be 12 bit, 16 bit or 18 bit, etc. The greater the number of discrete levels that can represent an analog signal, and the greater the resolution of the ADC. Next is the sensor. Sensors, often called transducers, which converts real-world phenomena like temperature, force, and movement to voltage or current signals that can be used as inputs to the ADC. Common sensors include thermocouples, thermistors, and RTDs to measure the temperature, accelerometers to measure movement, and strain gauges to measure force. When choosing the right sensor for our measurement system, it's important to consider factors like the accuracy of the sensor and the signal conditioning required to record a readable signal. Lastly is the signal conditioning. To make quality measurements on transducers, additional circuitry is often needed between the transducer and the ADC. This circuitry is generally referred to as signal conditioning and can include amplification or attenuation, filtering, Wheatstone bridge completion, excitation, linearization, calibration, and cold function compensation. Different sensors have different signal conditioning needs. Now we'll talk about the type of DAS, that is analog and digital. So analog data acquisition system, that the data acquisition system which can be operated with analog signals are known as analog data acquisition systems. Following are the blocks of analog data acquisition system. First is the transducer. It converts physical quantities into electrical signals. Signal conditioner performs the functions like amplification and selection desired portion of the signal. Next is a display device. It displays the input signals for monitoring purpose. Next is the graphic recording instruments. This can be used to make the record of input data permanently. And lastly, magnetic tape instrumentation. It is used for acquiring, storing, and reproducing of input data. Next is the digital data acquisition system. The data acquisition system which can be operated with digital signals are known as digital data acquisition systems. So they use digital components for storing or displaying the information. Mainly, the following operations takes place in digital data acquisition. First one, acquisition of analog signals, conversion of analog signals into digital signals or digital data, processing of digital signals or digital data. Following are the blocks of digital data acquisition systems. First one is a transducer. It converts physical quantities into electrical signals. Next is a signal conditioner. It performs the functions like amplification and selection of desired portion of the signal. Next is the multiplexer. It connects one of the multiple inputs to output, so it acts as parallel to serial converter. Next, analog to digital converter. It converts the analog input into equivalent digital output. Next is the display device. It displays the data in digital format. And lastly, digital recorder, which is used to record the data in digital format. Now let's just take a minute and try to answer this question. DS system are used when, which is not the part of a DS system, and DS system are not widely used, whether it is true or false. I hope you got the answer. So DS systems are used when bandwidth is low, which is not the part of DS system, that is display, and DS systems are not widely used. No, it is false. It is widely used nowadays. Thank you.